Hello everyone, let's make another flower. This one is going to be the Baby Tay Flower. I use it on my Baby Tay infant and toddler dresses. It is a simple 4 rounds of instructions. You will need about 12.5 yards of yarn. I'm using a 4 weight. It's a Caron Simply Soft, but you can use any yarn you prefer. It may just change the size of your final flower. This will probably be about 4 inches in diameter. So to start, we're going to chain 3. If you know how to work the magic circle, you're welcome to do that instead. I'm just going to do the chain 3 for those who are unfamiliar with the magic ring. Chain 3, and then we're going to work 12 half double crochet in the end chain. So we'll hurry and do that. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we will slip stitch into the front loop only of the very first half double crochet. So there's your beginning chain, and this is your half double crochet. So the front loop only. We're going to work in the front loop for the second and third rounds. We'll work in the front loops only, and then the fourth round we'll work in the back loops only. If you want multiple colors on your flower, you can change colors here. You can fasten off your first color and change colors here if you would like. So we are going to slip stitch and chain 3 here. So we've got our slip stitch, we'll chain 3, and then we will skip the next stitch, and in the front loop only, so we'll just insert our hook from underneath that front loop, we'll slip stitch to that next stitch, and we're going to do that all the way around. So chain 3, skip the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch. Again, chain 3, skip the next stitch, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Chain 3, skip the next stitch, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Keep getting that snagged. So repeat that around and you will end up with 6 petals. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This makes 6, and we will slip stitch in the same front loop. I'm actually going to pull that first chain forward, and I'm going to slip stitch behind it. Okay, that's our first round. So if you want the first round, or the second, sorry, that's the second round. If you want the second round to be a different color than the third, you can change colors here, or you can do the next round the same color because they're both going to be chains. So we will slip stitch in the next available front loop that's open and chain 5. And then we're working behind the chains of round 2. So just pull those chains forward so that you can see the open stitches available. See how this one has the slip stitch and chain? This is our next available stitch, so we'll slip stitch in the next available front loop only and chain 5. Pull the next petal down, slip stitch in the next front loop only that's available, chain 5, and do this all the way around. And then when you get to the end, you will just slip stitch in that same space as the first chain. Okay, so there is our round 1 is just our half double crochet. Round 2 is just slip stitch and chain 3, and round 3 is slip stitch and chain 5, and you'll have 6 petals on each of those rounds. I am going to switch colors here. You can continue on in the same color if you would like. If not, you can fasten off and switch colors here. So I'm going to cut that off. And I will just fasten off that color with a knot. Okay, to start the next color, you can slip stitch to any back loop of round 1. So if you pull your petals forward, you can see the back loops right there. Okay, to start round 4, we are going to slip stitch to any back loop of round 1 and we'll chain 3. Then you will work all in the same space 3 treble crochets, so we have the chain 3 and 3 treble crochets, and then we're going to make a picot. So we will chain 3 and you're going to slip stitch in that first chain that you just made. And that just creates the little point on top. And then we'll work our way back down. So 3 treble crochets again, all in the same space. Okay, and then we will chain 3 again and slip stitch in around that same chain space, and that creates our first petal. We will skip the next back loop and we will work that same petal combination, that same stitch combination in the next stitch. So slip stitch, chain 3, and work 3 treble crochets. Now we'll work our picot, so chain 3, slip stitch in that third chain, and then work our 3 treble crochets again. Chain 3 and slip stitch around that same stitch. So that's our second petal. So if we repeat this all the way around, we will end up with 6 large petals. So again, skip the next available back loop and slip stitch in the next back loop. Chain 3, work 3 trebles, chain 3, slip stitch in the 3rd chain, work 3 trebles, chain 3, and slip stitch around the same stitch. So go ahead and pause this video so that you can finish your petals, and I will meet you back here in a second. Okay, now that you have your 6 petals done, when I get to the very end, I like to secure it a little bit better. You end up with a gap right there, and I don't really care for that, so I always end on my end petal. I slip stitched. I did my chain 3 and then I slip stitched the same stitch, and then I'm going to skip the final back loop and slip stitch to that same stitch as the first petal, just to even it out. One thing I forgot to tell you at the beginning is I usually leave a tail long enough to sew my flowers to the project I'm working. If you didn't leave a tail long enough, you're still working on the first row in the back loop, so you're still working on the first round, so you can leave a tail long enough here at the end to sew your flower to your project if you want. So I'm just going to fasten this off. And I simply pull my yarn all the way through that end loop, and then I put my hook back up in, I leave a little bit of a loop and I put my hook back up in that and pull the strand through one more time and then just tighten it. And that knot has always worked well for me. And then I leave that strand long enough to stitch to my work. But this is our Baby Tay Flower. My daughter, it's going on a dress, and my daughter's calling it the Tinkerbell dress, but it's just kind of a cute little flower. And I'll show you the dress. So this is the dress that it is going on. And you can stitch it anywhere you want. You could stitch it up on the sleeve. You could stitch it, I like to put mine on the waist with a little belt hooked to it. It's just kind of a cute little addition for those dresses. Anyway, that is the Baby Tay Flower. I hope you enjoyed working that project. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on all the latest projects. I will have more flower patterns coming out soon. You can like and follow me on Facebook, and you could even subscribe to my email newsletter and stay up to date on all of the new designs and projects I'm working on and free patterns and sales that may be coming up this year. I hope you have a great day, everyone, and happy crocheting.